up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
Well, good afternoon, my beautiful critter. Why does it? Am I echoing? The hell? Hello? Okay, good gracious. I must have touched something. Like I was talking to you guys, I started hearing myself echo. Was I echoing earlier? I hope I did not notice it earlier, but I could tell I'm echoing. Okay, well, it has been fixed. I actually have an echo dial. It goes like this, see? And it's a dial, which is pretty weird because nobody's been touching my dials. It's just me. I always got this little creepy thing. Do 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 do. Okay, well. Did I tell you I want to move out of the house? Did I tell you that? I don't know if I told you that. Okay, I'm not sure if I told you guys that. Yeah, I want to move. Now I really want to move. I feel like we got to go ghost in the house. Oh, don't go into true crime, folks. Do not go into true crime. There are a lot of weird things that go on when you get into true crime. It's kind of freaky. It's kind of freaky. All right. Well, it's nice to see everybody this afternoon. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. We're covering the case of Sebastian Rogers. He disappeared. He's the beautiful boy behind me. He disappeared from his home at off of Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And the case and the story have been a little wild, to say the least. The military trained mom and stepfather are, for all intents and purposes, just a waste of space. You know, they're horrible people. They, you know, we're starting to finally learn after all this time, things are starting to leak, which we always expect these leaks to happen. And I kind of was hoping that they would have happened a lot sooner. You know, we were learning that Christopher Proudfoot threatened the media that was out there that morning, or that when he arrived that afternoon around 1:00, he threatened to shoot them, or, you know, he didn't brandish any type of weapon that I could see, but the threat was there. And he told them he better not see his home on the news. He's got a missing child. He's got a missing child. Usually people that have missing child want the wealth in the world to be watching because they want their child to be found. So early on, things just didn't look right. Early on, it seemed like Christopher Proudfoot was doing, hashtag Christopher Proudfoot was doing damage control. And even not going on interviews for like a week. It wasn't until their bullshit was catching up to them that they decided to finally go onto a mainstream media interview, but not without first doing a dry run the day before. And the day before was on this small channel, and she's the content creator is not much. You know, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. There's a reason why she went to this lady first. This is the same lady that took these people and you know, were with these people at a motorcycle rally, while people that I knew were out in the woods searching for these people's child, the kid behind me. So I have no real respect for the lady that I'm showing. I'm showing this interview for no other purposes than it being the first interview that they did, and showing how manipulative that Chris and Katie are on this interview, and then showing the next interview that we're going to be coming up to. We've already compared a couple little things, but we haven't dived into the green shirt interview yet. And then followed by that's the hands interview. And another thing you're going to notice is the only time Chris and Katie ever came out after this segment of interviews was after major things happened and they had to come out and do damage control and self-preservation. And then you'd see them come out and do an interview or two. And then they started really getting behind all these dirty people on these channels. There's a crew of people that only run interference for people that are most likely guilty of crimes. And those are your queen bees, your chlamydias, your you know, Catos, and all these other people that kind of they all have drug problems, history of drug problems, history of physical abuse that they've perpetrated. They're just dirty, grimy people. And so these are the people that bad guys go to when they're being attacked by social media, because they're dirty, grimy felons that don't mind committing crimes to help the people. And usually they're getting support by their audience, their grimy audience that likes to funnel money to them while they do these horrible things to other people to stifle the truth. And that's what they've been doing for years. And so this lady here is an arm's length away from that. She's not as grimy or as dirty as the people that she associates with, but they're stepping stones. So she's just the low stepping stone. Okay. And then when things start getting a little more, she hands it off to this person. Remember the whole blip board being handled. She could no longer handle it anymore, this lady here. She's probably getting too much heat. She blamed it on her father being sick or passing away or something like that. And now all of a sudden, chlamydia is running these blip boards, her account. Really, really weird. You know, all the change of money. Like, she even handed her the account. Like, it sounded it's just weird. Just weird. So, like, it was just weird. This is definitely a network of people that do dirty, grimy stuff. And again, like I said, this lady ran off with Chris and Katie to go to a motorcycle rally. Like, that was appropriate. This lady says that she's here for the missing. Is she really? Because I don't know of any other content creator that has taken off with people that could be potentially responsible for disappearing their children and going and having fun, getting drunk with them, partying out with them at a fucking motorcycle rally. Like, I'm sorry, but I have never in the history of doing this ever heard of another content creator being so dumb and unprofessional to boot. I don't know if I'll ever get over this. I really don't. I really don't. And I'm not a forgiving person either. And I should be, but I'm not. Well, we're working on it.
He looks like he's such a sweet young man. He
I went into my what did I just do something here? What the hell did I do? I must have hit something. There we go. Sorry about that. I hit something. I don't know what I did, but I hit something. So anyways, long story short is we're going to go ahead and say hi to everybody. I forgot to do that. I did my intro and rolled right on into this thing. So I need to pump the brakes, sister. Sonia, it's nice to see you. The real me too. Our beautiful Phil is up in the house. Kendra, good afternoon. I have to remember, good afternoon. So if I stumble across it, you guys know why, because I have a history of saying good morning. A long history of saying good morning, little history of saying good afternoon or good evening. Me and you, it's nice to see you. History of saying good morning. What? Little history of saying what good afternoon or good evening. How does that happen? That's the second time it just all of a sudden popped up on the phone for no reason. That's weird. Feels Big Brotherish. We're not getting into it, but I'm already talking about weather manipulation. I don't need to freak myself out. Donna, it's nice to see you. Hello, B. Betty fan, it's nice to see you. Good afternoon. Melanie, it's nice to see you. Peggy's up in the house. Gigi for life. Hey. Little orange man, I love it. In the bushes. Somebody hiding. Grave crime with Grace, it's nice to see you. Hey. What else do we have? Lorraine Law, it's nice to see you. Halston, AI Henry, it's nice to see you as well. Good afternoon / evening. Lisa B, always up in the house. It's nice to see you. If I can get my busy mama. Hey. In the bushes listening. We now have somebody named in the bushes. So make sure you clarify. If you're saying in the bushes, you're not talking to. This is going to start getting difficult here. I can see the problems already. It's going to be fun. This is going to be fun. ER Blues, it's nice to see you. Natalie, hey, mama, it's nice to see you. Cooper, hey, my love, I hope you're doing well. Lane King, it's nice to see you. Hello, Crystal Pistols. Blue Eyes is up in the chat. It's nice to see you. Snow Feathers, good afternoon. Kendra. Susan, it's nice to see you as well. Denise, hello, my love. What else do we got? Lori, hello, good afternoon. Kathleen, it's nice to see you. Did I say hi to you, Kendra? I feel like I did, but I don't remember. It's that dyslexia. No, it's that Alzheimer's stuff that I'm. Aw, thank you. Showing love. I love it. 1 full month. Thank you for your love and support. Donna, it's nice to see you. Hello, my love. What else do we have? Oh, Cooper over here. Remember, it's nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Valley Girl, best entrance. Oh, good gracious. JH, it's nice to see you. Aloha, my friend. Heather, it's nice to see you. Cindy, good afternoon. Lisa, Kathleen, Shirley, it's nice to see you. Pete, it's nice to see you. Pete, BMW Coupe, hey. Who else do we have? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's nice to see you, Pete Kimberly. Hello. Katie should did what I did yesterday when another adult that didn't have mine or my son's permission to touch my child. That was call the police and file charges. Amen. Amen. Mama Todd, it's nice to see you. Good afternoon. Show Poodles is up in the house. Auntie E, hey, 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 hey. I'm going to try to get off the conspiracy theories today and just talk about Sebastian. Brandon, it's nice to see you. And actually, now that we can quit saying it's a conspiracy theory. I'm sorry, we can. Brandon, BMW Coupe, Great Prime, Frank, Marion, it's nice to see you. Who else am I missing? I feel like I'm missing people here, but I'm not. I must have cussed. I see Sonia peeking through her fingers. I don't remember cussing. West Virginia Holler Girl, it's nice to see you. You never know. Things just slip out. What can I say? Outer Banks, it's nice to see you. Good afternoon. Common Sense is up in the house. Bullhorn Betty needs a little dose. Whenever you're free, come give me an injection. No, I'm just joking. Kara's mom, Randa, it's nice to see you, love. Who else? Karma's mom, Hope Floats, BJ Boop, Brienne. I think we've got just about everybody. I'm still dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches. Hey, 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 love. Kim, it's nice to see you. Tracy, hey, hey, hey. Tina, it's nice to see you. Mama Bear's up in the house. And I think every time I think I'm getting there, we're officially to the end. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so if you guys have been with me, this is kind of part 4 to our Sebastian Rogers case. We're kind of we took a break. Like, we have been fighting for well over a year for Sebastian. Law enforcement is obstructing their own case. Why? I'm sure it has to do with funding, but even when given the opportunity to go fight for more funding to help bring Sebastian home, the sheriff decides to fight for him and his little top buddies to get raises instead of more funding for Sebastian. Just poor leadership all the way around. In times of need, we expect the people that we vote into office to lead. And when you see them being self-serving, they're not good leaders. Because good leaders are not self-serving. Why? Because good leaders believe that by giving their people everything that they need, it will automatically boost them because they're doing what's right. You have your team build you, but you always have to take care of your team because they're building you. It's a give and a take. And this man had an opportunity, even if he wasn't going to fight for Sebastian, he just needed to fight for paychecks. It should have been the men and women under him, not top brass. It's just poor leadership. He's been there for a freaking sneeze and thinks he's done a good enough job when everybody is complaining about him. Everybody. We're not alone. I don't know if he's going to survive the next election. If he survives the next election, I'll believe it's rigged. I'll believe it's rigged. So, long story short, we're coming back to this right here. This was one of the first interviews, and one of the things that we have noted just behaviorally is Katie was very, very emotional less than 24 hours from the time that she was meant to be giving an interview to mainstream media. And they were completely different night and day behaviorally from this Duchess interview and their interview in the green shirts. And we're going to get to the green shirt. We're still dissecting this Duchess interview. Now, we have dissected this Duchess interview previously. But the problem here is that we've now stepped away from the case. We went and covered other cases. We've kind of cleared the mind out. We're not consuming Sebastian Rogers all day, every day. And so I feel like it rested our eyes. Now we can reapproach this case with fresh eyes and a lot of knowledge that we didn't have when we reviewed these things initially. And one of the things I am noticing is all the stuff that I didn't notice previously. And we've done this several times. And like I say, every time we do this, where we go back to the beginning of the case, we review these older interviews, we hear and see things differently than we did when we first heard them. Even the last time we went over this interview, we're still finding new things we did not talk about that ring true. You want to know why that is? It's not that we weren't paying attention when we've reviewed this. This is what our fifth or sixth time reviewing this particular interview in its entirety. Fifth or sixth time. How is it possible that we could possibly be getting any more new information out of this interview on the 6th, 7th, 8th, dozen time, or 20th time before this case is resolved? How do we keep getting new information out of it? I'll tell you why. Because what you don't realize is as time goes on, we learn new information. And when we learn the new information and we find out new facts, all these things that we may have been discussing previously, we may have forgotten about or replaced it with new information and just not realize it, subconsciously doing so. And then when you go back and review it, you have the knowledge of all this new stuff that you kept. And so now you're starting to say, wait a minute, but we know about this. Well, you're right, but we didn't know about this back when we watched it back here. So you're constantly getting new information out of these interviews because you're constantly getting more factual information as these cases drag on. You're also getting, it's a double-edged sword as well, because as these cases drag on, you might also be getting some rumors or opinions mixed up as fact as well along the way, which could really, if you're picking up those things, if the information you're picking up, if it's true, then you don't have really a problem with your result. Your conclusion is going to be pretty much the same. But if it's the opposite, it affects your conclusion. So be careful that you always ask yourself, how do we know this information? How do we know this information? Was it somebody that had personal knowledge that said it? Or was it somebody that heard from somebody that heard from somebody that may have personal knowledge? So you need to ask those questions. Don't take everything as true, because as you see, we are being dished a lot of disinformation and misinformation. Look at the Lily and Jack case. We're going to be going over that case tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. We're still having true crime conversations. I'm just going to be in a different location. We're just not going to be here. But we're still going to have the conversations. So what Lily and Jack, there's some things going on here that I have been reviewing, and it's around this pink blanket, the piece of the blanket that was found in the tree, and the argument. And so today I'm really reviewing this case because we haven't had a whole lot to talk about on the Lily and Jack front, other than speculation and stuff like that. But I'm really looking for, good factual information, not just the back and forth. The back and forth helps us look at behaviors, personalities, and a whole host of things. But I'm not really looking. I'm looking for the factual information, and it comes down to this blanket. But it's not just coming down to this blanket. It's about the big deal that they're making about the blanket, whether it was in the trash can or on the railing. And to me, that's just odd. And it depends on which side you're on, depending on who you're related to. So as I was analyzing this, interview that had neither Malaya or Daniel on it, just their families, I think Logan was part of Daniel Martell's family. Cheryl was on there. And of course she was Malaya's friend. And then you had Haley, which is Malaya's half sister. So it really depends on what side of the family the person comes from. And you can see that they're trying to be respectful of each other, but you can see that they're all annoyed with each other. because each family's trying to blame each family. That's what it comes down to. Even though they haven't done it yet, you're starting to see them make their camps, and you're starting to see them really argue over. Now, this blanket obviously is significant. Even though we don't know it's significant, it apparently has to be significant for law enforcement, because the whole family's arguing about this blanket, where it was, how it got in the tree. Was it in the garbage can? Was it on the rail on the outside of the house? So obviously this is a significant piece of evidence. How it fits in this case. Could it mean that somebody wrapped the kids in it? We don't know what the DNA testing or forensic testing of that blanket will show. It may have, for all we know, it may have bodily fluid on it. We don't know. We don't know what's going to be found on the blanket. Could it have just been used just to throw off the investigation? Because again, it's plausible that, it's up there. But long story short, we're going to be going over all of that tomorrow morning. That's going to be part of our show, breaking down the Lily and Jack case off of Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, Canada. And I find it pretty ironic, because this is another case that really didn't have a lot of evidence of children, too, in this particular case, walking off. And it's pretty interesting, because also in the Sebastian Rogers case, as many of you guys know, the mom and stepdad have been viciously trying to force us to digest and believe that Sebastian ran away from home. Although he never had a history of running away before. He's autistic, which for people that don't understand autism, I'm not going to go through, because I've learned that when I started this case, I was very ignorant to autism. I think I have a better understanding than I've ever had related to autism. But basically, in a nutshell, they rely heavily on schedules and routines, period. And so this is out of his schedule, or outside of his schedule and outside of his routines. And there are autistic children that have a propensity to elope, a thing called elopement. And that basically means the child runs away often, okay? Elopes, leaves. Just for out of the blue, nothing really triggering the person, him or her, to leave, but they're a runner, what they deem a runner. The classification is an elopement, an eloper. So he's not any of those. And from my understanding, even if he was, it would have happened much younger in age than 15 years old. So the what I'm trying to get at is, statistically, Sebastian being autistic and spontaneous enough to get up and run out with sensory issues and everything and leave every coveted possession behind, in all reality, has the absolute lowest probability ever. If you compare that with other teens, it's not as low. But because Sebastian is autistic, because Sebastian has routines, because Sebastian does things like puts on his shoes and socks on his feet before he walks out the door, the probability of him ever leaving his home without doing that is so low, it's not funny. Because, and I say that seriously, it is not funny. Because that in and of itself, to me, proves conclusively that this child never left that home willingly. Now, there is a caveat to that his father let us know that the only time he would ever, from everything his dad knows about him, and I trust his father because his father raised him. His father had the best connection with him. He lived life much differently at his father's house than he did at his mother's house. And you could tell his father, one, enjoyed his presence. His father truly enjoyed his presence being around him. He wasn't made to go into the bedroom and stay quiet. His dad wasn't embarrassed by his disabilities. His dad, embraced them and was wanting and looked forward to teaching his son how to live with his disabilities, teaching him how to cook, teaching him how to shoot, teaching him how to fish. You know, just doing normal boy stuff. So that was something that appeared to be different as well, because I felt like his mother didn't value his presence like his mother did. Or excuse me, like his father did. Like his father did. Mama, thank you again. Love you, Betty. We've got Cooper became a new member. And Gypsy gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Thank you so much, Gypsy, for that. And Cooper and the 5 beautiful recipients of the gifted Bullhorn Betty memberships. I can spit it out. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket in your padded room. I'm sorry, I stuck that a little too close to the microphone. You got a screaming great time. And we're not going to laugh that I still think that that's Justin's voice. I'm not going to go there. I still think that's Justin's voice. But getting back to this, you know, we don't have any evidence that he would run out the door. And so that's what was so hard for us to believe. And you got a man, Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Chris Proudfoot, shaming and blaming all of us for asking questions about what happened. You know, he wanted to answer the tough questions, but when presented with the tough questions, he wanted to school and gruel. So I don't like it. And he never has answered the questions. And now that he's just now starting to tell us where the heck he was, he's ran with his tail between his legs again. He's run with, where's Chris and Katie Proudfoot? We don't know. Ever since that their people chose not to indict me when I didn't commit a damn crime from their corrupt system there, poof, they were gone. Poof. Never heard from them again. We don't know. Did they have a pulse? Have they self-harmed? Are they alive? Are they gone? Are they missing? Did they move out of their home? You know, we haven't heard from them. We don't know. It's like their people stopped talking about the case. They stopped protecting. It's like one day it was like everything was done. Just like that. And so I started saying, it feels like they stopped making their payments to their mafia crew. You know? It seems like they quit making payments to their mafia crew. And they stopped getting protection. And they went into hiding. It kind of feels that way, does it not? And with their connect with, you know, Sheriff Snuggle Struggle, you never know. They might be in the witness protection program. They might have witnessed their own crimes they were committing. And so, you know, Sheriff Snuggle Struggle, you know, doesn't know his ass from his elbow. Maybe he misread the statute and figured that witness protection was for people that witnessed, you know, a crime that they committed instead of a crime somebody else committed. I don't know. I have no faith in Sheriff Snuggle Struggle. Have no faith in Sheriff Snuggle Struggle at all. At all. Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Melanie. Thank you. And for the family member that received the coveted Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room. I still need to move my mic out of the way. Keep hitting the darn thing. Keep hitting the darn thing. Thank you. Thank you for the support, the love, and the support, and sharing me. They're pimping me out over here. You see that? You see that? It is nice to see you, Denise, sitting here in East Texas, sweating. At least I have AC in my bedroom. Well, I'm glad you're not part of the news cycle that I'm covering, Denise. You know, And I'm still very, very upset because I want to know what happened. And I just don't, I don't believe, I don't, I'm trusting my own research at this point. I'm trusting the people that are outraged at this point. They're saying something ain't right here. I'm trusting those people. The furthest person I'm trusting is mainstream media and my government telling me that it's all in my head. Sorry, I'm not doing it. So I'm going to keep going down this rabbit hole, and I'm telling you, I'm about to go somewhere that it's got a lot of political talking heads to it over the weekend. And if you don't think I'm bringing this up, I'm almost thinking about making a shirt. I got those it'll only last for a day, but I'm good. I got those iron-ons, right? I'm ready to get a shirt. I got an extra shirt, an extra blank shirt in there. The Walmart shirts you pick up for like $3.98 when they're on sale. I got a whole mess of those. I'm ready to put ban weather manipulation on my shirt. I might go to the event with a shirt just like that, because this stuff is nothing to play with, and we don't know the repercussions hundreds of years later, or thousands of years later, or millions of years later. I don't trust our government, to be looking at the future of the earth. Sorry. Again, not of an environmentalist.
He is an avid Minecraft fan. Loves the color green.
Oh, and this is getting back. So they gave us the bullshit of everything that they went through their spiel. Sebastian went to bed at 9. She heard a noise at 10. She was slightly falling. She fell asleep on the phone with her husband, and he woke her up and told her to go to bed. And that was around midnight. And then, Chris pipes in and says he wants to make something crystal clear. We had this extended long conversation, but I didn't get off the phone with her until about around midnight, when I told her to put the dogs and stuff up to the bed, all, the same song and dance. And so now she's asking them, they're done with their interview, their little sob, it's crap. And she's asking, well, let's talk to us a little bit about your son, because, they only wanted the pity on them. They didn't really want to talk or advocate about Sebastian. So at least she has the wherewithal to at least, make them talk about who Sebastian is. And so she asked them, tell me a little bit more about Sebastian. Now, the one person, Sebastian, out of all three people, out of Seth, Katie, and Mr. Chris Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot is probably the one person he dislikes the absolute most, if not outright hates. And I believe that is mutual. I think Chris feels the same way about Sebastian. So when asked what his favorite things are, do you think it would be his sweet, dear mother that speaks up and answers all of those questions about who Sebastian is? No. It's Mr. Chris Proudfoot. He's only been in this boy's life a blink of an eye. Hey, Canadian, it's nice to see you, love. He's only been here in a blink of an eye. So, what say you? Why in the world is he answering this question? And that's where we left off yesterday.
To us about that, Chris, we did speak about that briefly earlier, about the people getting all the footage, but they haven't found anything.
Our entire neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods have voluntarily and with generosity given up
I went back a little too
any
far,
video footage
it's good
that they've got. I mean, they have let the departments come in and view and monitor. So as far as cameras, everybody has turned over everything. There's thousands of hours of stuff that they are combing through to try to find an answer.
It looks like Tish is local to the area. She said, I go to the grocery store or anywhere and our eyes are peeled looking for him. I work at a local restaurant and I'm checking cars as they come through the drive-thru every day. Bless you, Tish. I know this family is very grateful. Discovering Truth says, so he probably knows the route to his father's house, so maybe he was in the process of heading in that direction.
And for those that were here yesterday, I'm gonna reiterate something for the people that may not have been here yesterday. This whole thing with him heading to his father's, not only do I believe if Sebastian truly left their house, would he go to his father's, I truly believe he would have called his father. If he ran away from home, I truly believe Sebastian's first telephone call would be to phone his father. There's not a doubt in my mind that I think Sebastian would have reached his dad. And for him not to have, or to show up, do I think they're dirty, grimy people? This is what they're wanting us to believe. They're wanting us to believe that this boy ran away from home and somehow met with foul play out there on the roads versus from inside his home. That's what I don't believe that Tennesseans. Now, I have been out all over Tennessee, and I've been around some roughnecks that say, oh, we shoot first and ask questions later. And we're going to hit you if we see you. And all this other stuff. Okay? But I'm sorry. Every time I've ever gone into Tennessee, outside of the criminal element there, all the people are very loving people that want to help and are devastated by whatever is going on in their community with a missing child, deceased child, or missing or deceased adult. Whatever the case may be, no matter where I go, it is, the majority of our cases are in Tennessee. So I've got a lot of experience with all these roughnecks of Tennessee, right? Well, so far, I'm still here. These people are great people. What they said about the community of Summer Wells, where Summer Wells lived, Hopkins County, about how all these people there, they were so disrespectful. They were trying to scare us, but they were so disrespectful to those people out there in those communities because everybody, and I mean everybody other than the criminal element, wanted to help. And even some of the drug addicts and people that have issues, they don't have issues where they wish harm upon a child. Those people even came forward. The one thing they didn't want to do is work with law enforcement. Why? Because they don't want to bring attention to themselves by that element because of the lifestyle they live. So I don't believe that Sebastian walking in the middle of the night, he's just going to poof, disappear and be sold on the black market. I don't believe it works like that. Does it happen sometimes around this country? Yes, it does. But do I think that he could walk to a bus stop or walk from Sumner County to, say, Davidson County without being abducted? Yes, I do. I don't think the people of Tennessee, of all states, do they have a bad element? Yes, they do. But can somebody actually walk in the state of Tennessee without being met with foul play for a significant amount of time? Yeah, they can. So no, I don't believe that he walked out of the house, and I don't believe he met with foul play because I believe in the people of Tennessee. Is that misplaced? A lot of people would say, yes, you don't know who's around. Well, I can say if somebody's up yanking kids up off the street, we should have more than just one being yanked up off the street in this area. No? I'm just saying. Something to think about. These type of people that they're trying to describe, if he were to walk out of the house and he would have met, are the type of person that can't control themselves to go out and find another victim. We're not having all these victims winding up. So I don't know. I live at Hville and feel very confident in saying that the locals definitely want Sebastian's case solved. Oh, I absolutely believe that. And I absolutely believe that there's a lot of people in your community that are disappointed in the way everything has kind of transpired. Like I kind of had hoped. Oh my goodness, Pamela, God bless you. Thank you so much. I had kind of hoped that, getting this young sheriff in office, would have more tenacity than, say, Sonny, a much older sheriff, right? So I was kind of expecting this, I don't know. this macho guy that's ready to take this position, that's ready to, make the sheriff's department his own and stand up and be erect and have a backbone and realize the importance of this huge, I guess, promotion, and he fell flat for me. He fell flat for me as soon as when people told me, I wasn't from that community. I didn't go to his office, but some people went there to ask him questions about this national case. And when he first said, "Are you a resident of here?" basically telling whoever was there, if you're not a resident of here, screw you. That's what was said in that little tiny statement. Are you from here? It doesn't matter. He's law enforcement. It doesn't matter where any person in his office comes from. He's law enforcement. He has to deal with people that are there, people there that are visiting, people there that are illegal, people there that are doing criminal activity. He's got, what does that matter? And as soon as I heard that out of his mouth, I realized he was not the man for the job, because he clearly had no clue what his job was. And from that point forward, I will, and I plan to revisit. We're in 2025. We're going to be turning over to 2026 very, very soon. I'm going to be in Tennessee a lot. He just got into office. I've got 2028, and I'm ready to get him fired. I want to make sure that he is not the sheriff of Sumner County. So I've got very little time, and the only way I can do that is getting our 2026 people in office in Sumner County. We got some Senate, and I'm pretty sure Senate and House seats. We've got some Board of County Commission seats that should be coming up in 2026. We've got some things that we can do to start changing the landscape there in your community. And I'm here to help, because what I see, you guys should never, and I mean never, have to deal with in any type of government. It is wrong. And you guys don't even know it's wrong. You've just been dealing. I don't deal well. You either do things the right way or you're not doing them. And if you're doing them the wrong way, then why are people paying people so much to cause so much damage? You guys are going to have lawsuits out the ass with the current leadership you guys have. I will tell you. And you know who's going to be paying for all those lawsuits? The taxpayers. You need to fire your leadership in Sumner County. Because what's going to end up happening is they're going to cause all these problems for you, and they're going to jack up your freaking taxes because you have to pay for all their horrible mistakes. It's time to fire them. Time to fire them. So we're here, and now he's about to get into the conversation of, she's going to ask him what he likes. Katie doesn't speak about this. Only Chris Proudfoot speaks about this. Again, the least favorite person to Sebastian. I find it highly disrespectful. Now that I know this situation, did I know it was highly disrespectful at that point? No, I didn't, but I find it highly disrespectful now.
Yeah, that has not been ruled out. I mean, like I said, the search that they are conducting is extremely widespread and thorough.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody is ruling that out as a possibility.
But normally when he wants to go to his dad's, he just says so. And we just call his dad.
Yeah, I mean...
You hear that emotion in her voice. She's really working the phone and the speaker. Because less than 24 hours later, she actually has a camera in the house, or in her house and in her face. And wouldn't you know, this she didn't do any of this. As a matter of fact, she smirked and laughed at the very first question being asked. Highly offensive.
It's dad will come down here. We meet him halfway. I mean, there's this. He's never wanted to go to his dad's and not been able to go. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Oh, and I ended up getting sidetracked and forgot what I was doing. It happens. Bobby became the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insanity Asylum. Grab I read my email when you get read my email when you get a chance. I sent you a couple days ago. Oh, did I not read it? Okay, I will. Can you forward it to me again so it's at the top of my thing? And as soon as I'm done here, I will absolutely do that. Cynthia, thank you. Hey, y'all. Love BHB and the beans. We love you too. And Patty sent a super sticker. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Terrible to hear him speak, Katie, too. What a couple of I know they are, but we've been kind of dealing with this, well over a year now, and their commentary has only gotten worse from this. Like it's gotten so. If we were to take all of their it shows terrible people that are trying to cover up something, and we're all trying to figure out what that something is. Is it them placing some Sebastian somewhere or something a lot worse? And that's kind of where our confliction comes in this case. Where is Sebastian Rogers?
I mean,
RQ, thank you for being a member for 6 months. All of this is very, very helpful to help us, better understand the situation that we're dealing with. And I did see a post on Facebook that it looked like everybody was asked to wear green on Friday because green
Here
is
it is,
Sebastian's
right
favorite
here.
color. What else can you tell us about Sebastian?
He is an avid Minecraft fan. Loves the color green.
Mom right there. Mom right there. And he's just speaking for her.
He's got the goofiest and quirky smile in the world. I don't think anybody could mimic it, to be honest with you.
He looks like he's such a sweet young man.
And he's laughing and she's acting like she's crying. She's like, it sounds like she's like right up to the speaker while he's talking to her. I mean, I don't know. I've never liked it. We didn't hear this until I think May. It might have been maybe April, but I think it was May. And I didn't like it then. Don't like it now. It seemed real at the time until you compare it to the very next interview and their behavior when a camera's in their face. If she's this upset taking this interview, she should be upset with the same exact upsetness the very next day in another interview where the cameras are on her. And she's not. That's the problem I have. I didn't know you could just turn your emotions on and off like that. Be distraught 1 minute and have complete composure where you're chuckling, laughing, and biting your tongue.
Loves to dance. That boy he'll dance his tail off.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Dancing is good for you. It's good exercise too.
Hey, Tina, Gina,
I just
Shauna.
really hope they can find some answers. Now, I did ask you guys because, I know that sometimes when we're looking for autistic children that go missing, a lot of times people are concerned that they may be attracted to go towards the water. So talk to us about that. Is he a good swimmer? Does he like to get in the water? I think you did mention some things about that to me earlier.
So he's a fish in the water. I'm gonna tell you right now that but here's the distinction. He is not a child that likes to get dirty. He
doesn't like to get dirty, but runs out of the house into dirt with bare feet. I mean, everything that they're trying to convince us for, they have to make sure that they verbally say who Sebastian is because of his father. So if you take all the things that they say about Sebastian, him not being a runner, him not liking dirt, him being allergic to grass, him having sensory issues, if you take all those into consideration, it makes you even wonder why they would actually think that this child walked out the front door and not something else. Because if they know Sebastian this well and they're expressing this to everyone, maybe they're not realizing what they're saying here. They're giving us every single reason why Sebastian would never willingly walk out of the house. So how in the world would he walk out of the house?
He can't stand his hands dirty. He can't stand bugs. He is fearful of flies and things. So if he swims,
Can't stand bugs and is fearful of flies. Wouldn't you know that Texas has a lot of ticks? What? I unsubscribed because I was trying to tell Betty something but can't seem to email. I can only reply to an email. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I don't know what goes on on that side of the things. I try to respond, but maybe if you're doing it from a phone, one of the things I find out is phones get a little gunky. So sometimes uninstalling the app and reinstalling the app fixes all the problems. But yeah, sorry about that.
he is a pool kid. He's not a I'm a river and a stream kind of kid. He is swimming pool bound.
So he knows how to swim. So even if he did or was attracted to water, he's not drowning. So now we know that all that time, lakes, streams, and everything might be all for nothing, because they're saying there's no way he would swim in those types of waters because he knows how to swim and he loves water. He just doesn't like dirty water.
Discovering the truth. I'm sure that they are probably looking into that. Now,
What? Are you guys from different countries? Maybe it's a country thing. I'm not sure. Huh. Interesting. Could it be your email address? I mean, it's Gmail. I get a lot of, trust me, I get a lot of emails.
know that you said there was some misinformation that was going around.
Check your spam. I know, because spam, even if it's in the spam folder, it shouldn't have anything to do with you guys sending me an email. Interesting.
And you wanted to make a clarification. You did tell me that TBI, was assisting, but that there was some confusion. People thought that FBI was actually assisting in this case. Talk to me about what you spoke about earlier to me on our.
And listen to this. You're going to listen to Chris kind of downplay the involvement of the FBI. And I think that that's because that's the way it was presented to him. I'm not sure if the FBI had as little involvement as we're hearing, because we're also learning that the FBI is the one that came up with the $50,000 reward. Thank you, Patty. Patty gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Well, thank you. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Patty thank you. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Are you the Insane Asylum? Grab your straight jacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. But I think that the FBI has been more involved than maybe Chris or Katie know or would like to know. Because I feel like, if an investigative body wasn't that heavily involved, why would they come up with a $50,000 reward in a case that they're not that heavily involved in? There's a lot of cases that we know the FBI is heavily involved in. Okay, so it seems like it's an Android issue. Huh. Weird.
A phone call about how FBI is, that they were consulted, and the card team, I guess there is a discussion going on as to whether he qualifies, as, for the child abduction response team.
So the FBI is not physically on the ground. Somewhere in one of the news clips, I think it was reported that the FBI had made it on the ground. They're not. TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, has reached out to the behavioral analysis team, or their CART team, and they are trying to work with them from a distance. They're not physically present, to help.
And I actually believe there were some FBI there on the ground. I don't think that they let them know. I think this is a situation like they did with Malaya and Daniel Martell, where but then there's a flip side to me, because I don't believe if the FBI truly was boots on the ground, that Chris would have ever left that area without a tail. That is a major that's a protocol that I know the FBI would absolutely do, and it makes me wonder if they were on the ground, if they did do that, and maybe nobody's aware of it yet. I don't know. I don't know. From one gypsy to another. You guys are cute. You guys are cute. Katie Proudfoot. Ooh. What does it say? Where we are. What does it say? Where's a nut cap? Oh, Katie Proud wears a nut cap. Sorry. Lisa B always. You have to give me a second. My hooked on phonics is a little broken. We won't say anything to anybody. I'm gonna say, if you guys tell anybody that, I'm gonna tell them that you're not being honest. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You can try emailing again. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with the email. This is the first I'm hearing about it. So, Bobby, if you can try to email me again, or find me on Facebook or something like that, that might be, then I can give you my address, or email you from my email or whatever. But I don't know why you wouldn't be able to email me. I really don't. That's a little weird. Okay. Betty, 8 minutes doing popcorn shrimp with Greek lemon baked potato wedges for dinner. Ooh, that sounds yummy. Oh, and I did what after I tried that garlic potato, because it's supposed to be the entree and stuff like that. I know what I would do differently with it. I would just put green onion on top. And that would actually have looked very nice for that. And then I was thinking, well, what would be the sides? And I would either do, with that dish, I would either do a baked beans, or mac and cheese. And then either, a vegetable, either seared asparagus or, corn on the cob. So that would have filled out that. So I think I've already got the meat, that second slice. We're going to do a redo, and we're going to do the whole meal, because I think that was the first time I had cooked that, and it tasted good. So now I know what I would like to do just a tad bit differently. So I went ahead and made the seasoning, re-seasoned that other piece of meat that we had, and I put it in the vacuum sealer and stuck it in the freezer. So we've got already seasoned, so it's gonna be very flavorful meat by the time we unfreeze it and do that a second time. But the next time we're gonna add, I think I'm gonna do asparagus. I like asparagus. I know it's not as bright as corn, but flavor wise, I think I'm gonna do asparagus and mac and cheese. So, anyways,
in any way, form, shape that they can, render their assistance.
Okay. Light and Sound, thank you for being here. Have burner phones been looked into? I know some teens sneak phones from their parents, or maybe his computer use.
And remember, they were being this was the very first time anybody had really heard about that. So I truly believe all of these questions that are being had right now are being had genuinely. There was no chaos in this case when this interview was going on. Everybody was just trying to help find Sebastian. Everybody was believing Chris and Katie when this interview was taking place. I just want to remind you guys of that, okay? Nobody had any information that Chris and Katie weren't being truthful. That was starting to come out after this. The reason why they came on here is because their local community, because remember, the rest of the world hadn't heard about this case yet. It was their local community believing that they had done something to their son. It wasn't the world. This was the first time we've learned about it. And you will hear the very next day them talking to the news reporters about the harassment that they've received. They couldn't have created that much harassment in less than 24 hours. I'm sorry. I've been doing this a while. I'm not going to say it's out of the realm of possibilities, but it just doesn't seem to be the case because this case was not well known at the time. It was not a national case. It was a very small case that many of us heard by one content creator on TikTok. That was it. And that one content creator, somebody like me saw it, and then it sent it to somebody like me. I sent it to somebody like me. They sent it to somebody like me. Next thing you know, we have a huge search crew out there in Hendersonville, Tennessee, searching for Sebastian Rogers. That's how that all happened. And then immediately they noticed that it seemed like somebody from Chris's family was following them all around. They weren't helping. People were asking, where's the mom and stepfather? They were hiding, telling them, oh, we can't go out. Law enforcement doesn't want us getting, doesn't want us leaving the house. And that same evening, they were out of the house eating. So they could eat, but they just couldn't search for their son. And it enraged a lot of people.
At school to
We
see
haven't been
if he
able to
has
find
been
any
chatting.
evidence of a secret phone.
Okay, good.
But talking about the secret phone, I would be more inclined to think maybe Chris or Katie has one as opposed to Sebastian.
Good. Because digital evidence is really important. They want to.
But that wasn't the question asked, because again, these people are genuine. They're thinking that everything that Chris and Katie are saying is true.
Make sure that he's not speaking to anybody. This
Chaos says they were at a Mexican restaurant. I thought it was the bar. I thought they said it was a barbecue joint.
is such an unusual case.
This case is extremely unusual. Like I said before, we are pretty strict when it comes to certain things. As far as comms, communication, electronic devices, there was only one phone that he had. It was extremely locked down. He had access to his phone, his text message, to only his contacts list, a camera, and a calculator, and that is it.
He's a pretty happy kid usually.
He seems like it, and I know that you love him very much. I know that I can remember earlier in our conversation you were referring to him as Bubba, and I think that's sweet. I call my son Bubba also, so that really tore at my heartstrings because my son, he's 30, but he's still Bubba to me. So it just, that name is going to stick forever. It's just.
And stepfathers should not be laughing. I mean, they just shouldn't. This is not a time and a place for laughing or being jovial or joking around or anything like that. This is not the first time Chris has laughed. I'm pretty sure that people that were listening to this were probably, for the first time, were probably getting some spidey feelings like something isn't right here just because of the way Chris and Katie are handling themselves. Not so much Katie. I mean, Katie does kind of sound like the grieving mother, but I think all bets were out the window when they saw her display the very next day in the green shirt interview.
How it is. Cindy Caton, thank you for being here. She says, are there any old wells that maybe he accidentally fell in, or any areas or mines that he might be at risk of coming in contact with? I know sometimes those things occur out in Tennessee. The divers, have they found any possible leads? I know that I heard that there was a possible pond that they were draining. You did tell me they were searching all of the pipes.
Yes. So when it comes to address her question as far as wells and things, I'm sure there's plenty of those around here.
They're searching them.
They actually pulled data for all the caves.
You notice that even in this first interview, Katie, it seems like wants to say something, but it's just Chris has overtaken everything. And even at the beginning, they were adamant to make sure everybody knew that he was out of town. So that might, kind of going back into time, that might have not set well with people listening to this at the time.
Underground voids, all of that stuff that could be accessible. They brought in teams from all over the state that specialize in either cave explorations, water recovery rescues. We don't know that they have drained a pond. I can say that much, but they have searched, they've dived them all for sure. They've walked, I couldn't tell you how many miles of creeks and waterways, and they've used cameras. The sewers, it's not really the sewers they're looking in. It's the drainage pipes. Nobody.
So it does make you wonder, has the sewage been checked? Because, if you look at Grant Solomon, he got caught up in the lift station. So is it possible? And it took a long time before he was finally, his stuff migrated to the lift station.
So that's for clarification. Sewer pipes, we're not going to find a child in. Those
Right.
are enclosed and secured. But the runoff, water runoffs, were all searched by a dive team.
So he thinks because the sewage are sealed, if they really did not check the sewage because they think they're sealed, that's some nonsense right there. I'd like to know if those have been checked.
Waterways, and they've used cameras. The sewers. It's not really the sewers they're looking in. It's the drainage pipes.
So what about the sewage pipes?
Nobody. So that's for clarification. Sewer pipes, we're not going to find a child in. Those
Right.
are enclosed and secured. But
So see, he's already dismissing the sewage pipes. That's problematic for me. Why wouldn't they check the sewage pipes? They're saying that they only check the drainage pipes. There's stormwater, the ditches and stuff that run into like the culverts. Those drain like rainwater and stuff like that. Then you have those manholes in the middle of the roads, the ones with the big old, circle things that they have to lift up and go into. Those are two totally different systems. One is your sewage system. So every time you flush the toilet, it's got to go somewhere. Well, it leaves your home and goes to the pipes, and the pipes, if you're not on well or septic, this is kind of how it functions. It leaves your house and it goes, everything kind of graded down, so it kind of just goes down to the pipe, and it's hooked up to the county. And then the county has a pump that's called like a lift station, and it's constantly bringing the waste in so it can sanitize the waste and push whatever water, recycle the water back out. It's quite the process, but there's two totally different systems here. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand that, and they're not connected to one another. So they have to check both of the systems. He's always cutting her off. He is always cutting her off. He won't let her speak. He's so scared she's going to say something wrong, and every time she did speak, hashtag Chris Proudfoot wears his mommy's panties. Do I have that photo? Oh, good God. Oh, good God. Let me see if I have that photo. Do we have the photo showing Chris Proudfoot wearing women's underwear? Oh. When we don't like somebody, we really don't like somebody. I'm just saying. Let's see what kind of photos we got in here. Do I have the underwear photo? Let's see. What do I have? You know what? I know, let me just go down just a little bit more. If I can't find it, I'm gonna I know where it's at. I know where a copy is at. All right. Let's just do a little something here. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go ahead and find it. Okay. Let's see here. Maybe not. Oh, well, I guess if I find it, I'll keep looking for it while we listen to this. If I can find it, I'll put it up.
Runoff, water runoffs were all searched by a dive team.
Okay. And I know Ginger Snap said his law enforcement looking into the possibility that he met a friend through Minecraft. I hope that they would just go ahead and vet all of that just to make sure, because you never know. I'm not really sure how all of that works because I'm not a gamer, but I know that there are ways that you can communicate like via Xbox because my son is a gamer. So, and Gabrielle, I believe that you guys were at the Costco on Saturday. That's when you took the picture of him, correct?
Yes, my wife was at Costco on Saturday.
Yeah,
The
not
shirt
Sunday.
that's in the flyer where it says optimism was on a Saturday.
Okay, so that's where we learned that the optimism photo was taken Saturday. So we still never learned why they chose to use that particular photo when we learned that Katie had taken a picture of Sebastian at dinner the night that he disappeared.
They were at BJ's on Sunday.
Okay, and
when it comes to
a restaurant or
no, they are all wholesale, like a commissary style stores where they sell in bulk.
Oh, okay. So Costco
so
Saturday, BJ's on Sunday.
Yes,
He loves to eat all the samples, and BJ's is new, so I took him.
You're a good mom.
And when it comes to like the one mentioned about Minecraft,
can't stand that woman.
Like I stated before, he does not have any way to come with anybody on any form of online gaming. That is extremely restrictive. We don't allow that because of what can come of it.
They combed all of the electronics.
I can tell you this with no hesitation. Anything and everything we have given to the police and any other law enforcement to have them completely scan, validate everything, and they are currently. I mean, everything is empty. I mean, they were like, "You guys are pretty good at." I said, "Yes, sir. We don't believe in allowing the kids to communicate through social media or."
Everything is empty. What does he mean by everything is empty? His online stuff, because allegedly Katie and Chris use online stuff as well, except the cameras were in your kitchen. And I'd like to know about those cameras because they keep saying they're wishy-washy about these cameras.
Or through any type of gaming.
Looks like Missing in USA says, why are they wanting camera footage from Sunday afternoon? Because
that we cannot release right now.
Okay,
that is not something that has been.
So Katie was about to speak and Chris took over. We cannot release that right now. There's only one reason why they would do that. It's because they don't believe what the parents are telling us true. There's only one reason why they're doing that. Every time we have these missing person cases and we hear that they want to start looking at footage prior to the time that they disappeared, we already know what they're looking for. Because they're basically the statements that are coming from the parents aren't jiving with something.
Authorize us
or
to
whoever's telling them.
Right.
Put out to the public.
And we respect that 100%. Ginger Snap says, I was reading that his favorite song is Eye of the Tiger. That's a great song.
He's got an eclectic taste of music. He's a fan of Eddie Vedder.
Listen to them. They're talking like that, like he's not missing. Do you guys notice that? They're talking like they're just having a conversation about, their child. And not the real issue that child is missing.
He likes Survivor. Great. Oh yeah, I mean young man has a very eclectic taste in music.
And you told me that
Taylor
he
Swift,
loves to play chess.
Carrie Underwood.
And he loves to play chess, right?
He has a crush on Taylor Swift.
Ooh, he has her boyfriend better watch out then. Was 911 allowed to be called? Rhonda asks.
On the cell phone, is that what she's referring to?
Yes, I believe so. Is that what you're asking,
All
Rhonda?
device, all devices that have communications um, have the ability to call 911. Believe it or not, most cell phones that are not even connected to service have an ability to actually call 911.
Yeah, you can pick one up off the shelf at a store and most will call.
Yeah, that's become a federal thing. That's not a service provided. That is like a federal thing.
We
Right.
wouldn't restrict safety features even if we could.
Yeah, safety is not restricted in this house.
Okay, I do have one other question before I read what was his is saying.
I am still in the process of looking for that photo. I know I've got it somewhere. And it doesn't appear to be in my file, so I'm going through my phone.
There was something I was going to ask you. Let's go ahead and do was his question right now. Shackle Island Road and New Shackle Island Road, are they in the same area?
New Shackle Island Road runs parallel to Long Island. Old Shackle Island Road is actually farther directionally. It would actually be south in front of the hospital, the Hendersonville Hospital. That is roughly, I think, 4 or 5 miles from our house.
Okay. Okay. Single Mom, that's your favorite song too? Now, something I do want to ask you is because I've been watching social media because that's what I do. I share missing cases on lots of different social media platforms, and I was very disappointed when you told me that people were harassing you and attacking you.
Now, I want you to remember, this is the very first interview they ever gave about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Us out here in YouTube world, TikTok world, Facebook world had no clue about this case. None. So who could have been harassing Chris and Katie? It would have had to have been their own locals.
Is there anything that you want to put to rest while you're here tonight or make clear to the public about this situation? I know you told me there was a statement that you wanted me to make about you and the mom and the dad. So if you want to make any clarification about that, you have free reign to do so. We will not allow you to be disrespected here on this platform.
I have no malice or ill intent toward anybody. Everybody has an opinion.
Of course.
But what is factual is that the father, the mother, and myself have been extremely cooperative. We have been vetted. We have been checked out. We have been questioned and everything of that.
I forgot. He always had, I remember now. That's right. I forgot way back when. He always talked down about Seth, except when it was to include him and Katie in the cooperation, searching and finding of Sebastian early on in this case. Yet the father came out multiple times and says he has no idea what the mother and the stepfather are doing because he hasn't seen them. That's right. I forgot about all of that.
Nature, and literally have been cleared. There is no wrongdoing. There is no negative input from the parents or any of the family. And it's hard for a lot of folks. I mean, I will be honest and say this out loud. I have a custody case that is currently going on in another state, which has been brought to public light because people feel that they.
Again, by who? This is only 7 days later. It would have had to have been their local environment. I don't think JLR was involved in this at this juncture. I think he was over at Riley Strain or covering Riley Strain. He's the only one that doxes crap like that I know of.
Want to judge and think that they understand what's currently going on, and they don't. Because of that, I am being looked at in a very foul way. I don't need to repeat anything that's being said, but you know,
but
and it's
people that are,
perfectly
there's
okay.
people that's probably seen it on social
Oh, I
media,
found
and
it.
I want you to be able to have the opportunity.
I couldn't find it in my good old JLR. He's got the photo. He's got the photo. Here it is. Without further ado, I know you guys all need to see this. Chris in girl panties. I don't know if you guys can see that. I just don't know any guy that wears panties that are cheekies. They sure look like they go up pretty high. Usually I see them down here, or down here. I see a little line down here from the boxer briefs, or the ones that are kind of right here. These kind of go up at an angle, both both sides. And I can't understand how in the world he could get a wear pattern like that in his jeans. I keep looking at my jeans. I'm not one of those cheeky cheeks underwear type of girls. Okay, I'm not a T-back or a G-string. I hate to break you guys' heart, but I'm one of those whole ass underwear wearers. Okay, I like the whole damn moon being covered. Okay, it is my sense. It's the sweet meat. Okay, it needs to be covered. It doesn't need to be chafing on jeans or any other cotton. Okay, I'm not that kind of girl. I'm just not. but apparently Chris is. Apparently Chris is that kind of girl. We just didn't know. But wouldn't that? I mean, think about it. It's your stepson's vigil, his prayer vigil. And so you won't stay there for the vigil. You're wearing your wife's cheeky drawers, and you're going for a motorcycle ride and shopping for a motorcycle. Like, where's the priorities here? And I would say I always thought Chris was a little sweet, but no, I don't. I mean, maybe he should have some sugar in his tank. He might be a little sweeter. I'm just saying. Who knows? But apparently Katie's got that sourpuss juice. I'm just saying. He doesn't seem like he's walking on clouds. He seems like he's, trying to keep his head above bullshit. I didn't say that. You guys are hearing things. All right, let's get this bad boy back up. Let's get back to work. Folks. So we got Cheeky Chop Chris, okay? Instead of Crystal Clear Chris, we got Cheeky Chops. We got Cheeky Chops Chris.
To defend yourself. We have 248 people watching right now, and I'm sure that anyone that's watching this on the live stream.
Oh shit! I'm wondering how much we could pay Justin to start calling Edgar Cheeky Chops. If we can just get Justin on board.
I don't need to repeat anything that's being said, but
right,
but and it's perfectly okay.
I'd like to see Justin to clutch them pearls or clutch the pearls. I want to see him start calling instead of Edgar. I just want one show, Justin, just one show of you calling him Cheeky Chops. I don't know. I feel like you calling Chris Proudfoot cheeky chops would just make my day. It would just make my day. Come on, Justin. Do it. Do it. Do it. Guys, clip that. Send that to Justin for me. Let him know that Chris officially, that hashtag Chris Proudfoot and Edgar officially has a new brand. He's now Cheeky Chops. He's now Cheeky Chops, okay? And if he needs to know why, send him you can go ahead and send him the post that JLR dropped, the one that shows he's wearing the cheeky cheeks. I'm just saying. I don't want to cause problems or anything like that, I just want to make sure everybody is factual and accurate, I mean, if he's wearing briefs, we want to make sure that everybody knows he's wearing briefs. We don't know how it's going to matter in this case, but it's got to be significant. I mean, come on. A man that's supposed to be wearing briefs is in his wife's cheeky drawers? Don't they have separate, drawers now? I mean, I didn't commingle my underoos with my husband's. My husband lived clear across the other side of the house, but I mean, either way, I don't recall ever catching Vince in a pair of my underwear. I mean, you never know. He had a lot of free time on his hands because I was all over the country, but you never know. But I don't recall ever, coming home. My socks, he always mixed up the frickin' socks. That drove me nuts. Because both of us wear ankle socks, and he's got Flintstone feet. And then he's like, oh, I got your sock. And he hands it to me, and it's all stretched out. And I'm like, you might as well throw it away. Why are you giving me a stretched out sock? It's a little too late for that, right? So if you can imagine that, if I notice what my husband does with my socks, I mean, I'd have to think if my husband was putting on my underwear, I would know that. But who knows? Who knows? Okay, we're going to get off the ass. I meant that literally too, and figuratively.
People that's probably seen it on social media, and I want you to be able to have the opportunity to defend yourself. We have 248 people watching right now, and I'm sure that anyone that's watching this on the live stream, please respect this family. I mean, you can't have an idea of possibly what they are going through.
Now you know why I can't stand this woman. She's too stupid to be on these platforms, When you think a parent is innocent and you think an innocent parent would actually get on a motorcycle and go to a motorcycle rally while everybody's looking for their kid and there's not red freaking bells going off above your head and you thinking, man, this is pretty red flaggish, or man, maybe I shouldn't do this. No, you go ahead and I can't with these stupid people. Just can't. I'll be right back.
And it's really not any of your business what is going on. And I understand that you do see your other child, which, and that doesn't have anything to do with Sebastian. And you guys are on good terms with his father. There's not like there's any custody battle between the mother and Sebastian's father. I mean, obviously, if he wants to see his father, you guys told me that, you just plan to meet up, and it's no big deal.
I don't know about that because, my daddy had tidy whities too, but I don't remember them coming up that high. Did guys really show parts of their butt cheek and with their underwear? Is she saying it's tidy whities? I think it's like, cheeky shorts. Those cheeky drawers, that they got that just show just the little pooch of your butt when you're wearing them. I don't do those either, Sonia.
So, I've read a couple of heinous things that people are saying, and it just really upsets me to know that people are just going to that without having all of the information and knowing that law enforcement has interviewed, interrogated everyone in your family. They have looked into you. They have all of your devices, and that they basically cleared you guys of any involvement in Sebastian's disappearance. And I just wanted the public to be able to hear you say that, because you do have the right to defend yourself, because it's not like you said earlier.
Why would anybody want to defend themselves? We're not here to defend people. We're here. I mean, like I said, this lady obviously has too much bleach in her hair. Apparently, she doesn't even realize what her own platform is for. But it's for to advocate for children, not about how uncomfortable people are speaking about the parents. If the parents are so overly concerned about how they're being spoken about, maybe get off their ass and go out there and search, because at the end of the day, even a year and a half later, the only thing the public has wanted is just for them to show that they actually give a shit about their son. That's all we've ever asked for. And they have fought tooth and nail because they absolutely refuse to look for him. They only want to say that they've looked for him, but not actually look for him. They hired the most unscrupulous PI I have ever met. They were not serious about finding their son with that knucklehead being hired. Because he wasn't there for Sebastian. He was there to run interference and to take the heat off Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. By the way, those are the most dangerous hashtags in the world.
It's not about you, it's about finding Sebastian.
Correct.
Yes.
And I just don't want to have people to be dragging you around on social media. Isn't it already difficult enough that your child is missing?
Yeah, it's sad that when statistics tell us, especially the statistics related to disabled children, this, again, lady that likes to hear herself talk and doesn't really care about actual facts, she's not even batting an eye. Now, I wouldn't either. If this is the first time I was meeting somebody, I would want, but you know what I do? I shut up. I let them talk. I want to know, do I have monsters on my channel or do I not? Statistics tell us in child cases, when they are missing, the high probability that their caregiver is responsible is extremely high. And we have to take that into consideration in every single one of our cases. Did you even know that me and you, if I got knocked off tomorrow, do you know that it most likely, statistically, will be somebody that I know? And I'm an adult. So the statistics aren't special for children.
That's beyond words. This is a feeling that I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't
wouldn't
care.
wish this on
Nobody
anyone.
should ever have to endure. It is not something that should ever be wished upon for anyone.
Now, I do see Miranda. Miranda has a child that is special needs as well. And we've covered a case on my channel involving her child in the school system here on my platform. So Miranda is a very strong advocate for kids that have special needs and them getting fair and equal treatment. And she says, how is his skills on walking around on heels or without a trail? Because my son would stumble if he had to step over a 1-inch rock or any form of incline. So, I mean, is he able to walk?
It sounds like from everything I know that this is not something that would affect Sebastian. It sounds like when he runs or when he walks, he just kind of walks on his toes a little bit.
Good. How is he able to navigate on his own? Is he able to walk good?
Katie not answering. Waiting for Chris.
Can you hear me?
Maybe they dropped. Maybe they didn't want to answer. Maybe they got a phone call. Maybe they've been talking and they didn't realize they got a call. But whenever you're on these things and you get a call.
Did I lose you guys? Can you hear me?
You can't hear after that. Where are we?
Chris, are you there? Can you hear me? Trev, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I see. Thank you, Mrs. Clem.
Yeah, I believe it's exit 6 and exit 7 will be in Indian Lake.
Was his says I'm local.
To hold a conversation.
I went up
Have
to
lost his signal, guys. Now,
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
okay, that's like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? I figured you might have lost signal.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll figure it out. We get it back every once in a while.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
He was just about to say something else. Makes me wonder, were they at the house when this call was going on or someplace else?
I understand.
He's high functioning. I mean, he's fully able to hold a conversation, and he walks and he loves to run.
Okay, well that's good. And
Well, finally she spoke up.
Rhonda wants to know if he has a special button on his phone.
No,
On his phone?
I don't. Mm-mm.
Okay.
But he doesn't have his phone.
There you go. First time we realized that an autistic boy that has sensory issue has a propensity to putting his shoes, socks on every time he leaves the house because of an ant event that happened that scarred his brain, that makes him know that he's going to get eaten up by ants unless he puts those shoes and socks on. And he had beloved fixtures. One thing I have learned more than anything through this journey of learning about Sebastian's case and telling his story, one thing I've learned about autistic children is they are not alike. They have some similar behaviors, but each it's almost like their own fingerprint, if you will. Each child acts differently. Each child that has sensory issues typically has different types of sensory issues, different types of texture issues, sound issues. You know, some can handle sound. Sound doesn't bother them. Some just a small drop of something could terrify them. But one thing from autistic child to autistic child, out of everything that I've learned over the last year and a half about this case, is that these gaming systems are a really powerful mechanism to keep them calm. It seems like a lot of autistic children love playing games. When I've talked about because that was the one thing I always try to find similarity, something that's similar from person to person, and I just couldn't grasp that in any other aspect. But one thing I heard from parents over and over again, friends and family and siblings and bus drivers and teachers that worked with autistic children of any degree, it seemed it's a way to stay focused. There you go. It seemed that gaming systems were very important to them. For example, one of the parents that I spoke to said when their child, and I believe it was a son, every time his son leaves his house to go over to a friend, another high functioning autistic adult child, he would take his gaming system, unhook his gaming system, and take his home console with him wherever he went. So it showed you, or with him when he went over to his friend, not everywhere he went, but when he went over for leisure time with friends, he would take his own console with him. So the reason why I'm telling you this and focusing on this gaming console is because these are highly important to autistic children in whatever degree of autism that they have. Yet Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers allegedly was running away from home and wouldn't take the shoes and socks that he knows he has to put on his feet or his gaming system, which is as important to an autistic child as air to us, to everybody, but it's up there as high importance. So the reason why I'm emphasizing all of this about the gaming console is because it was left behind along with his shoes, along with his phone that Katie was just telling us about. Why would he leave those behind and go outside where there are bugs and he's deathly afraid of flies? And if you know anything about Tennessee, they're covered in ticks. If you're from Tennessee and I am spot on about the ticks, please put a 1 in the chat. If you're not from Tennessee, don't answer. We may only have 1 or 2 people from Tennessee, but the people that are from Tennessee, raise your hands or put a 1 in the chat. If I'm full of SHIT, put a 2 in the chat. because I don't think I'm wrong here. I know I've been out there in the Tennessee woods, and one of the things Olivia and I had to do when we came out from searching from Layla Santinello is check ourselves. We had to check our hair. We had to check under our neckline. We had to check under our bras. We had to check in other places. I'd have to think that Sebastian wouldn't like ticks. And that is something that Tennessee has a lot of. So I don't know. Based on what Katie's saying and what Chris is saying, it just doesn't seem. It seems like they themselves would never acknowledge or believe Sebastian walked out the front door on his own, based on everything that they just told us in this interview. And I have to think that people that are as analytical as me and pay attention to behaviors and language, they were probably, by the time this interview was over, they were probably hot and heavy that these parents, something's not right with these parents. Because you got Chris laughing here, you got Katie, the only one that was with this child, being ultra quiet. You know, she sniffles and cries every now and then just to play the part. But it you know, I think that if people were starting to get that uneasy feeling by the end of this, and I have to take myself back to that moment when we didn't know anything about this case, you know, what would be like little red flags that I would say maybe we need to hone in a little bit more? And they're hitting some of those red flags. So if, even though we have the knowledge, it's really hard to predict whether we would have had those initial impressions watching this, because we already had our impressions by the time we got around to watching this the first time. It makes me wonder, would we have caught on to these things? And I really do believe that, yes, people would have been catching on to these things, because I know by the green shirt interview, the stuff that I was hearing and reading online was fierce. I mean, they were calling Chris and Katie every name in the book. And I'm like, you know, I had to go back and look at this, and I was going through my own personal problems, and I had to really check myself on this case at the beginning. My team knows, they were up with me until 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the mornings working on some of this stuff, going through some of this stuff. It was one of those crazy cases, but I checked myself a lot with this case. I never wanted to believe Chris and Katie, especially being military. You guys know how I feel about military. I'm always fighting for the military in this county. I'm always fighting for our veterans, always fighting for them to, you know, have resources if they have substance or alcohol abuse or anything like that. You know, I don't want them on the streets. You know, veterans are near and dear to Bullhorn Betty's heart. So, you know, when I heard that they were both military, you know, there was just a piece of me that was nagging at me, like, maybe not, maybe not. But the more I watched them, and the more I'm saying, there's no way that they're the way they're acting and talking is kosher with the military. How do I know that? Because I have family from the military. As a matter of fact, my uncle, he retired after 30 years in the Navy. My uncle was stationed in the same area Chris and Katie were stationed in. So, and you know what, going all the way back then, I got to look at the time, because, you know, it's going back to like almost 20 years ago, 18 years ago. And I think my uncle was still finishing up, because my aunt had just moved to Florida, I believe the late 90s. And I remember my uncle wasn't with her for the first few years because he was still on the ships. So I don't know if he was in the Navy when Chris and Katie were, but it's pretty close to when he was leaving, as they were, you know, kind of coming in, just to let you know. But they were in the same area.
Yeah, and he left his phone at home, so he doesn't have it. Was his says, I'm local and I'm trying to get a direction. Thank you. And says something about exit 5. Are you guys close to exit 5?
No, well, that depends. You can access off of what they call New Shackle Island Road, which I believe is exit 6.
Yes, I see. Thank you, Mrs. Clem.
Yeah, I believe it's exit 6, and exit 7 will be in Indian Lake. But as far as the special button on his phone, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, me either. And I know Discovering the Truth said that, her child was able
There
to
are some phones out there that are designed for the children that only have certain phone numbers and an emergency button to call for help if they meet with foul play, they have medical events or something like that. I think that's what the person was referring to. I've seen them. They're they kind of look like phones. I mean, they look like phones, but don't like when you power them up, that they're visibly different.
get around the security system that they had kind of set up on the phone so they couldn't access the websites, that it was locked. And apparently he got around it and was
Okay.
able to access it. And I guess that's kind of what they were talking about, in a couple of
Well, thank you for your service, Beverly.
text in the chat. So that's what I was trying to address, because a lot of the people that come to my streams, they have children that are also autistic. So they deal with a lot of situations, and they can understand some of the things that you may be dealing with at this moment. I can only imagine what you're going through, not knowing where he is.
Without publicizing our address, best I can.
Okay, let's listen to that question again because I think it's interesting.
The things that you may be dealing with at this moment. I can only imagine what you're going through, not knowing where he is.
Not knowing where he is. Okay, so you would expect a mom to kind of come unglued, thinking about she doesn't know where her son is. A week has gone, nobody's heard or seen him. A lot of parents would be thinking, worst case, just be distraught because this is so out of the ordinary. In here, we don't have those traits and those behaviors coming from Katie or Chris. And she's even asking them specifically, going out of your mind. They don't sound like they're going out of their mind. They don't sound like they're going out of their mind with worriness. And then listen to Chris's response. It's as odd as the question.
Without publicizing our address, best I can tell you is we are off by the beach area, and that kind of area is where they've predominantly been focusing their searches.
Right.
Near the house.
When it comes to the special button, no. Just so some parents are aware.
Seems so matter of fact. Doesn't seem like he's going out of his mind with concern, does it? Doesn't seem like either one of them are going out of their mind with concern. It sounds the one that sounds the most emotional on this panel is Blondie.
Even if you lock down your child's phone, some children can actually turn their phone into safe mode, which would bypass the parental locks and then allow a child to go on the internet. There is a way to block that. You would have to look that up. That's too much in depth to go into. But no, I mean, when I say we're strict, we lock it down. We lock it down.
Okay, well, that's good to know. David Bryant, thank you so much for being here. David said,
we now know that they're not strict, they're just abusive.
Hey, one question. Do you think he would have stuck to roads, or do you think he could have went off into the wooded areas?
I can answer that. I can answer that with everything they've said in this whole entire conversation. He doesn't like bugs. He's terrified of flies. He hates grass. He hates dirt. He's not an eloper. He doesn't run away from home. He left everything at home. Would he want to stay on the roads or go in the woods? We've discussed this. He would stick to the roads without shoes on. He ain't getting his feet dirty. He's not going to have those ants biting his feet. Let's listen to what Chris might say. He might say he'll stay at the roads. He might give us a bullshit answer. I don't know. I can't remember.
That is that's hard to say. We don't.
How is that hard to say? Let's walk it through. If he had a road or scary woods with dirt bugs and dirt and more dirt with no shoes, is he going to go clamping through sticks and forestry, or is he going to stay on a sidewalk? Cut it out. How can this man not know? He's already told us the answer. Now he's confused. I don't
really have an answer, but all I can say is every avenue is being searched, regardless of woods, roads, anything. Everything that can be searched is currently being searched.
Reckless Ellis, thank you for being here. Reckless Ellis says, I'm not saying he did this whatsoever, but I did see a screenshot from Facebook where he yelled at the news and told them to get off his property. Is there any truth to that?
Well, you know what? At the time, we did not have these things called receipts. Hey, Lady Freedom, nice to see you, love bug. We didn't have these things called receipts. Well, now we do. And actually, it's funny that this question is being asked because those receipts were just known and realized over the last, I don't know, week or two. They surfaced and started being passed around, where we've learned that Chris actually threatened them with a gun and told them he better not see his house on the news. That is some weird behavior coming up on a scene with a missing child. I can say I've never seen that or heard that before. Not even with Adam Montgomery. Adam Montgomery didn't even act like this.
Well, Reckless, I'll let them speak for themselves, but if the news was on my property, I might yell at them to get off my property.
They weren't on his property. But you know what? That was weird behavior, and she's justifying it. Did you hear what this dumb broad said? Listen to this. I would have yelled at him too. No, you wouldn't. Because just like me, we tell parents to get into the cameras. Show the picture of their child. We don't tell news organizations to get off their lawn when they're advocating there and trying to learn about a missing child. See how flip-floppy, flaky, and washed out this broad is? Her name's Duchess.
This was
I don't recommend her.
Whatsoever, but I did see a screenshot from Facebook where he yelled at the news and told them to get off his property. Is there any truth to that? Well, Reckless, I'll let them speak for themselves, but if the news was on my property, I might yell at them to get off my property.
So you'll let them speak for themselves, but you're going to speak for them. I'll let them speak for themselves, but you're so full of shit, it's not even funny. Can't stand this lady.
Facebook where he yelled at the news and told them to get off his property. Is there any truth to that? Well, Reckless, I'll let them speak for themselves, but if the news was on my property, I might yell at them to get off my property too.
Mm-hmm.
So I have not spoke to any news crew that have been physically on my property. I have spoken to a news crew that was down the street. And
oh, so you threatened the news crew down the street. So they were down the street and you threatened them with a gun. They threatened them with a gun and told them that his house better not be seen on the news.
just asked them politely, do not film my house. They were filming the police doing something, and that was perfectly okay. They gave me the word, we shook hands, and politely moved on. So, no, I mean, as far
Chris doesn't do anything politely. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Chris doesn't do anything politely. When has that man been polite? We haven't seen this man polite. This is probably the politest interview he gave. These first 3 interviews was probably the politest. After Chronicles of Olivia, they hit the stupid train because everybody knew they were full of shit and they were trying to salvage their name and reputation. Well, the only way you can salvage your name and reputation is don't disappear a kid. Sorry, not sorry. I seem to recall that when that interview was set up, it was done through a family member of the Proudfoots. So the connection is probably resulting in her softball questions. That's right. I keep forgetting. Maybe that's why Duchess thought it was a great idea to go to a motorcycle rally with 2 pieces of shit. But she's a piece of shit. Birds of a feather.
Or yelling at the news? No.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying that. I hope that helps, Reckless Ellis, and thank you so much for being here. Let's see. That's right, Leave It to Beaver. These are real people. Focus on the missing baby. Exactly. Thank you for being here, Miss Chewy.
Well, I would think they would have to focus on the missing child first, which they're focused on themselves and everything they're going through.
It's so good to see you. That's right. We all know that the child is in danger and needs to be home where he's safe. And that's all we need to know. I just want to make sure that people understand, like, this family is really going through it. And the focus needs to be on the child. So,
Yep.
and we just appreciate anyone that's able to get out there. Now, do they also have?
I can't stand just hearing her talk. She just likes to hear herself talk. But you guys got the gist of this. We still got a little bit. How much longer are they going to be on? Oh, geez. Okay, so they got probably another half hour. Another half hour of this. About 22 more minutes. 22 more minutes equates to about another 3 hours of me talking. This is why once we're done with this, I don't know if I can come back to Duchess. Her interview style just irritates me. I'm just going to have to pull the transcript and refer back to it because her voice irritates me. Her interview style irritates me. This whole thing irritates me. I hate hearing it. I hate listening to it. It frustrates me to no end. And so we're going to kill it right there. We'll be back tomorrow. Well, I may not be back here at 3:30 tomorrow to talk about this case. Tomorrow morning when I arrive, I'm probably going to sit in my car and do a live with you guys over the Lily and Jack case. And then I'm going to be pretty much, if I have some time, to come live and show you guys what I'm doing inside of the event, if they allow. I don't know if I'm supposed to. I know that certain areas, I actually know everything we do, we're allowed to record, because I remember last year we were allowed to record as well. So anyways, if I can show you what I'm doing, I will. If I can't, I can't, but we will go live a few times. It may just be a few minutes here, a few minutes there, just talking about what I'm doing there. But my morning show will be designated true crime. The stuff in during the day, probably not so much. So if you're not into that, then, don't be into that. Just ignore it. You guys will know when I'm there. It'll say something on there. I don't know. I'll designate it. If it's not true crime, I'll designate it. If you guys want to come and hang out. If you don't. But I expect to see some pretty cool people, there. So anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I wanted to also welcome Debbie. I don't think I told you. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room. And if I already did tell you that, well, you just got it a second time. Feel lucky. All right, guys, you have an amazing evening, and we will see you tomorrow. I'm getting excited. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. I don't know if I like the way these videos are set up now. I can't find what I'm looking for. All right, now it's official. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere. True crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.